I'd like to make an important distinction between diagnostics, how are we doing, and metrics, what are our goals? What are we committed to achieve going forward? A healthy organization is clear-minded about both of those. So the diagnostic tells us what's our condition, in medical language, what are our vital signs? And the metrics say, okay, what are we committed to achieving as the sort of performance yardstick going forward? The other thing that I think is useful to understand about diagnostics versus metrics is that when you're thoughtful about these things, they in effect set the roadmap about sort of the velocity at which you're going to achieve which kinds of innovation. I would never try to do innovation effectively without being really clear-minded about the diagnostics that tell me how I'm doing now and the metrics that help me to clarify what it is I'm supposed to achieve. Rule of thumb, a company that sets its metrics properly increases its likelihood to succeed with innovation by at least 10x, and sometimes by 20x. And if you think about it for a couple of moments, you'll understand why. If I've declared what it is I'm trying to achieve with innovation, and I've told everybody how I'm going to measure it, well, I just make it so much easier for everybody in the enterprise to start contribute things that matter. If instead the problem is, okay, innovate now, well, I don't know what I want. I want it to be new. I want it to be unprecedented. I want it to be game-changing, and I want it to be important. Well, that pretty much galvanizes just about everybody right into inactivity. I mean, it's terrifying to try to figure that one out. But tell people what you're trying to achieve, and you've got a fighting chance of achieving it.
I think in any institution that's introducing design thinking and looking to measure the impact of it, it can be a very challenging task. I mean, on the one hand, one sits back and says, okay, if we're going to see an improvement here, when are we going to see it? And it might well be that it's years out in the future before you can begin to measure things like, lower infection rates or things that are medically relevant. But I do think what you can do is begin to measure some inputs as well as outputs. You can look at the changes in behavior of the institution with the assumption that if those changes in behavior are happening, that you're going to get better results. So, for instance, one of the things that we often measure inside institutions as they take on the idea of design is how much more quickly are they prototyping ideas. Because one piece of evidence of increased innovation is increased speed of prototyping. And so we can look at that as an input and say, okay, on average, how long does it take for a project team to build its first prototype and try it out with a patient or a customer? If that comes down from a year down to a week, then you can be pretty confident that there will be more ideas getting developed more quickly, which ultimately will have a benefit. So we looked to measure both inputs as well as outputs when it comes to introducing the process of design into any kind of service environment.
If I had to pick just one metric that matters in almost any industry, it's the percentage of innovation initiatives that returns the cost of capital. Okay? So think about it this way. If I'm going to take the scarce resources of any enterprise and I'm going to invest it for 9 months, 12 months, 18 months to try to prototypes and do something new, one of the really important questions is, does the resulting innovation succeed in the marketplace, do something that's different than what the competitors are trying to do, and produce enough positive cash flow return on investment to overcome my cost of capital? That is, from my money, sort of metric number one. Now, that's a metric that is rarely used inside of healthcare, okay, or any other industry for that matter. But it's really the thing that matters. And the moment you start to embrace that one seriously, you stop doing the nonsense about brainstorming 417 ideas in an hour. You see yourself as trying to generate one idea over the next day for each team to try to associate itself with.